Hello readers, I'm Amy and I'm your nonfiction feminist. You may recall my channel used to go by my actual name. I decided to change it back to nonfiction feminist because that's what my Instagram handle is, that's what my email is. It just seemed easier that way. Since the last time I talked to you all, I have moved across the country. I got to go to Japan. I have some very big stuff happening in my life, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will already know what that thing is. And here I will be announcing it after, I think, one other video that I'm going to put up, and then I will make my big announcement. It's very exciting. I am potentially coming out of BookTube retirement. We'll see how it goes. I figured maybe I would pick up the camera again so I can let you all know about the amazing project that's coming up. But I want to give you other content besides that too. In naming myself the nonfiction feminist, what I meant to say is I'm a feminist, and that's not a fiction. It has nothing to do with my reading tastes, which are very eclectic. But today happens to be the day on which I'm going to talk about some spooky nonfiction, because my nonfiction reading mood, and I am a mood reader, happened to coincide with the spooky season of October, so I have some books here that I have already read, as well as some books that I haven't, and I'm looking forward to, and probably won't get to this month, but I am hoping that I will get to this month. So let's start off with Gory Details. I read this in the last year or so. This is Adventures from the Dark Side of Science. Gory Details is exactly what the title says it is. It's very gory and gross and disgusting. There's a lot in here about bugs and, I believe, rats and peeing in the pool. Like, it's gross. It's the kind of disgusting that you hate it, but you can't look away. There are 6 parts to this book. We have part 1, Morbid Curiosity. Then there's That's Disgusting, Breaking Taboos, Creepy Crawlies, which is the part that I struggled with the most, Gross Anatomy, which does include excretions, and Mysterious Minds. There's a little bit about voodoo, there's microscopic creepy crawlies, there's cannibalism, more creepy crawlies. If you don't like bugs or are not curious in or interested by bugs or actively triggered by bug things, don't read this. This book is disgusting. But man, was it entertaining. Next up, I have Spook by Mary Roach. Now, Mary Roach also wrote Stiff, which is about cadavers. This is about science tackling the afterlife. Now, I will say, I've seen she's got some new covers out for her books, and I believe this book was actually retitled. I don't remember what I saw it retitled as, but this is my copy of it. It's Spook. It's got this awesome set of mirrors on the cover. If you don't know about Mary Roach, nonfiction writer, she has a degree, I think just in general, like general English creative writing degree, but she, in spite of not having a science focus, has become a science writer. She will find a topic that is very niche and just utterly fascinating to her and do a deep dive and write all about it. This, throughout her books, has involved her getting personally involved in experiments and case studies and stuff, which has been fascinating. I love that she, as a writer, is so involved in her craft. And in this one, Studying the Afterlife, we have visiting the idea of reincarnation. There's the little man inside the sperm, or possibly the big toe, hunting the soul with microscopes and scalpels. So I don't remember what that chapter was about, and it's been a couple years since I've read this, so I should probably read it again. We have How to Weigh a Soul, the Vienna Sausage Affair, which is part of ongoing efforts to see the soul. Hard to Swallow, which is a chapter about ectoplasm. you've just got all sorts of scientific study on ghosts. Now, she approaches this from the lens of her not believing in ghosts, and it tells you at the end of the book what she thinks about ghosts now. Found it fascinating. I love all of her books. I recently purchased Replaceable You, which is her newest book about replacing body parts, so I'm 100% certain that I'm going to love that too. Now we have From Here to Eternity, Traveling the World to Find the Good Death by Caitlin Doughty. I've really enjoyed all of her books. I decided to pick this one because it's specifically exploring the cultural ideas of death. She travels to Colorado and California, North Carolina, then there's Spain, Japan, Bolivia, Mexico, and Indonesia. A lot of these are exploring kind of microcultures, or you have Native Americans and just these different groups and how they deal with death much differently than our idea of the average American dealing with death. I remember specifically there was something about these bodies kind of being mummified so that people could try and like change their clothes or position them in family photos so that they could take part in family life and still feel involved in spite of being in the afterlife. It's also not too long, so it's a nice little overview of cultures, something to get you interested in learning more about other things and maybe researching other things. Next, we have Your Favorite Scary Movie. This is How the Scream Films Rewrote the Rules of Horror. This is a recent release. It is by an entertainment writer, and it shows. It's entertaining. It's about the entertainment industry through the lens of Scream. It gives a lot of background information on making of the movies. It talks about Wes Craven. I've seen like documentaries and behind the scenes and stuff of the Scream films, and this doesn't bring anything new or different to the table. However, if you're a fan of the Scream films and you like just collecting stuff that's about Scream, you want to read about Scream, you want to see the behind the scenes, this could be a great book for you. It's very much like the popcorn face of Ghostface on the front. It's like a popcorn read. It's quick, it's easy, it's entertaining, you're not really learning anything new. I think this book really fulfills its purpose, so if you're into Scream, maybe check this out. Now for 3 books that I have not actually read yet. I'm hoping to get to by the end of the month. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can hope. It came from The Closet, Queer Reflections on Horror. So these are all queer writers that are reflecting on the horror that shaped them. Something I want to talk about along with that is the science of women in horror, the special effects, stunts, and true stories behind your favorite fright films. And I love reading about women and women's history. And then we've got like queer nostalgia. What I would like to do, depending on the movie, because there are certain horror movies that I won't watch that have certain content in them that's just very triggering. But what I would like to do is, as I read chapters in each of these books, if I think I'm up for it, I think it would be really cool to watch the movie that chapter is talking about. Do kind of like a read along, watch along. I would also really like to read these along with my husband, who is absolutely in love with horror, and see what his thoughts are, generate conversation. I have a lot of friends here who are super interested in horror, one who's probably going to borrow this book when I'm done reading it. I think we're just going to have some really fascinating conversations about the history of horror and how horror has affected us over the years. Lastly, I heard about this one years ago and just never picked it up, or I didn't see it in stores to remind me to pick it up. This is The Butchering Art, Joseph Lister's quest to transform the grisly world of medicine. This one I have promised myself I am getting to by the end of the month. Love a little bit of grisly history. I don't know if this is going to be more of like From Here to Eternity examination of science and surgery, or if this is going to be more along the lines of gory details where it's going to be really gross and disgusting. I have no idea which one of those it's going to be, but I'm excited to read it. I think it's going to help me with the Halloween mood, and you should probably pick it up too. Or if you've read it before, let me know what you think. So these are the books that I've talked about today. I hope this was interesting to you. Let's see how coming out of booktube retirement goes. And I will see all of you in the next one. Bye, friends.